coming on Megan's Bookish Life IG Live.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So we will get into your debut book in obviously a second. But I want to deal with the name Aphrodite because I have a story. Okay, so ever since I was in middle school, I wanted to name one of my kids, which I actually don't want kids anymore, but I wanted to name my kids Aphrodite. And I was like, I love that name. It's so pretty, and the goddess, whatever. And then I realized as I got older as an adult that you really can't shorten Aphrodite. Like Deity, I'm not calling my kid Deity. I'm not calling him Afro. Like, like as an adult, I'm like, okay, think things through, 11-year-old. But I'm wondering, this is your warm-up question. I'm wondering if you've ever heard like a Greek god or goddess name that you're like, I would totally name my child or my pet this.
Yes, I also don't want to have kids, so it would always have to be a
The
pet.
pet. Yeah.
um, but there are a lot, but then, you get, like, I have a friend whose dog name is named Zeus. Um, I've heard a lot I also volunteer for a local dog rescue, and we actually had a Greek mythology puppy litter. So all the puppies were named after Greek gods and goddesses. So I've encountered that a lot. I would definitely do it, but like knowing as much as I do about Greek mythology, they all are kind of shitty. So I'm like, how much of that energy do I want to like transpose onto my pet?
You're like, you're adorable, but the name behind it. Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. What did I do? It was Aphrodite, and there was another one. Oh, this is not even part of it. I also wanted to name my boy child, and I was like, Hayden from Hayden Christensen from Star Wars, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was really cute, sans
Yeah.
the poor acting in that movie.
You know what? I was 10 and I did not care. I said,
No, I neither did
I,
I.
before we keep going into your book, how do you pronounce it? I have Oenone. No, wait. What is it?
You're very close. It's Oenone.
Oenone?
Yep. Or Oenone. Like, just depends on what you choose to emphasize.
Okay, I'm gonna do Oenone. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Perfect. So I also. What do you mean? I didn't even start the question yet. So Oenone is a Greek. No, she's a nymph, right?
She is, yes. She's a water nymph.
Nymph. Okay, so I tried before, like doing all these questions, to search like on YouTube. I'm like TV. I'm like, oh, Greek, whatever. And so I tried searching her on YouTube, and there's barely anything out there.
Yeah.
So when I Googled it, I was like, no, she's part of the mythology. I'm not stupid. Like, so YouTubers, we need to cover less known mythology, but there's a ton of Paris videos, which is her husband that left her for Helen of Troy, right?
Correct. Yes.
See, I did research, but
Yeah.
He's literally mentioned like she was like a nymph, and then loved him, and then Battle of Troy. I said, oh, hello.
Yeah.
So, how did you cross Oenone?
Yeah. So it's funny that you mentioned that because my mom is actually reading the Iliad right now, and she was like, they haven't talked about Oenone yet. And I'm like, they won't. They might, like, I read the Iliad back in college. So, I mean, it's been over 10 years. So I don't remember precisely, but I'm like, they might towards the end, but like, she's not there that much.
Yeah.
So I kind of stumbled across her when I was in college. I studied art history, and one of my classes was like American art in the Gilded Age. And I remember being like irritated that I even had to take that class because I've always been way more interested in like European art, like Renaissance. I love medieval, like Gothic art and architecture. So I was just like, oh, I have to take this class. But we had to write our thesis on like a piece from that era. And I stumbled across this sculpture of Oenone by an American artist named Harriet Hosmer. And in that time frame, Greek revival was very popular. So a lot of people were doing like building buildings with columns and doing sculptures kind of in that like Hellenistic style. And she was one of those. She actually studied in Rome, so she learned like from people that study that type of art and architecture because Rome copied so much of Greek art and architecture. And so she did the sculpture. So that was the piece that I picked for my thesis because I was like, heh, it's actually more like Greek, less American 20th century. So
you knew the shortcut, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So I had to research, like in researching the sculpture, I wanted to know the background of like who was this person. And that's kind of how I learned her story. And then I wrote that whole thesis paper, like that whole semester, I was so focused on her and that sculpture and her story. Um, so that was like what I focused on. And I was really proud of that paper. And my mom read it and she was like, wouldn't it be a cool story if like that sculpture came to life today? And I was like, huh. And then that just stuck in my mind for 10 years until I actually started writing.
Okay, the first thing I'm thinking of, and I'm like talking to myself, I'm gonna do it. So I'm thinking like, for you said sculpture come to life for your mom. I was like, night at the museum #4.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Ben Stiller, come back.
Right. Well, we'll have to cast him in the movie if it ever happens.
Okay, so I took art history class because I was like an art major a long time ago, and then I dropped out because I'm bad at art. But obviously like 10 years ago. But I had art history class, and I was like, ugh, history of art, great. This might
Yeah.
do it. But I really got into like the Pompeii art, like so. I understand what you're talking about when like you're like, I don't want to take this, and you're like, there's a little sliver or something I'm interested in.
Yeah,
And
definitely. Yeah.
okay, so how long has Oenone, your debut book, been in the works? Well, my thing is too, how long has it been in, and was that the first thing you've ever written, like for fun?
So I've been writing for as long as I can remember. Like I even my parents just moved and my mom gave me a box of like a ton of old school stuff and half the notebooks had like stories written in them. But I did like at one point I just wanted to see if I could even write a book because so many times I started a story and then would write until I like lost interest or I wrote myself into a corner or I was just like, well, I had this idea, but I don't actually know what to like what is the plot. So I had a lot of beginnings. And then at one point I was like, can I even do this? So I just plotted out like a fantasy book and wrote it. And then I knew I could write a book. Like it was feasible for me. So then I kind of circled back to that idea so I graduated college in 2014. So that's when I got that, my mom said that, like, what if that sculpture came to life? 2020 rolls around, so 6 years. I'm sitting, like, you know, stuck in my house, nothing else to do other than hang out with my dog and sit on the patio. And I was like, maybe I'll actually try to write that idea. So I opened up a doc, started writing. I think from that, like spring or summer of 2020 until it was actually like finished and I started querying was 2023. So I took a lot of breaks because if I don't take breaks when I'm editing, I end up hating everything I've ever written. So I have to take time away from it before I like circle back and do another round of edits. And I kind of got stuck in a little bit of a loop where it was never good enough and I kept going over and over and over it. So it was edited like 100 times before I actually was ready to like send it out anywhere. And then I was scared because I'm like, I put everything into this book. It's terrifying to imagine somebody reading it. But yeah, so like the nugget of thought was there for 6 years, and then it was 3 years for me to write and edit it, and then I signed with Rowan Prose in 2024.
I have to tell you. So I write nonfiction because I'm a journalist, but I do. Okay, so I've tried like short story fiction, and I'm really good at cliffhangers. That's why I'll never put it into a book, like because people would hate me. They would say, don't be mean, and I'm like, I'm gonna be mean. But I love what I wrote. But since I'm not used to fiction, I have gone back and edited it until it was like different. Like I was like, I have to edit this, and I'm like, it's like half of them are fine. Like I'm totally fine. But I get what you mean. You're like, I end up almost hating them because I'm like over editing, and I'm like, just calm the heck down.
Yeah, I fall into that trap a lot. I have a project I'm working on right now that like the editing I'm doing now is pretty much turning it into a completely different book because I edited it so much that I hated what I have.
Yep.
Yep.
I have been there. And so I've never tried other fiction after that. And I love editing, but I'm like, you know what? I think I'd be I'd be bad at it. But also I'm like, I would hate it after all that freaking bad thing I do with editing and not liking. But anyway, I have to get back real quick to your when you said I think you said your mom brought like over all those writings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When you were younger. So many people have told me that, and I need someone, and it could be you, it could be anybody else in the world who's an author. I need someone to take their childhood writing and just like spin it into a book. Like I want to see that. I mean, not saying cards, but
I thought about it. I was like, do I have something here that I could like run with? But honestly, they're all really bad. Yeah, I mean, to give you an example, like my mom's name is Holly, my stepdad's name is Ron. The villain in a fantasy book I was working on in 7th grade was named Holoron. I was like, I can't use this.
She was angry back then, okay?
Yeah, something pissed me off.
You're my enemy now, literally fictionally. Oh
yep.
my God. Why did I laugh so hard? Okay, anyway, I kind of do it. I think I had a poem I wrote like in middle school, and I have it somewhere, and it was back then I was like, it is so good. And then I got a and I was like, okay, hater. My teacher was like, she was like, it's fine. I need to find that poem and see if it's actually good because
yeah,
like 11-year-old me was like popped off, like, but I can't do it.
Dig it out. People need to know.
I know. I'm gonna do like a Instagram live just by myself reading all my old writings that I don't know if they're good or not. So with Oenone, which is I have to say is the name of the book, like it's the character name. So have you faced? I mean, this is kind of a broad question. Have you faced any challenges by writing the characters in the book because they're based on myths and history and such? Like, was any part of it difficult to write for aspect?
No, because I think when I was writing about that sculpture, I myself was going through like a time in my life. I had been dumped like 6 months before, and I was having a hard time getting over it because after I got dumped, I found out I got cheated on. So it was like the lying and the gaslighting and the everything, and it was like my first love. It was just, I was 20 years old, and you know, your first love, your first heartbreak is always like so devastating. So when I was like studying that sculpture and what Paris did to her, I identified like so much with that at that time. And like, if anyone has read the Iliad or knows the mythology, you know, it's not a spoiler to say, at the end, Paris is shot with a bunch of arrows. He goes back to Oenone, his first wife that he spurned, and is like, hey, please heal me, because she has the power of healing. And she's basically like, go, I don't know if I could swear, but go F yourself. And then he dies. And she's like riddled with guilt, and I was like, I can do that. So I kind of just had this tie to her. And then when I started writing, like, Oenone, the character is very different from me in a lot of ways, but in a lot of other ways, she's very similar to the me at like 20 years old. And the lessons, like the fact that I started writing it when I was in my late 20s, I learned so much. And I feel like she learns a lot of that stuff. So I kind of just put a lot of myself into her. And then by the time she was like a character, she wasn't necessarily this like nymph from mythology. And same with Paris. Like Paris comes back in this book. He is a lot of my terrible ex-boyfriend. And a lot of the Paris that we see in like Troy from 2004 or whatever, Orlando Bloom, like he's just kind of a sniveling idiot.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what would a sniveling idiot be like today? He'd be like a douchey DJ. So
I have told my coworkers a couple of times, I said, we need to bring back booing at people who suck. So
yeah.
Give me a space real quick. This is for your ex. Boo! Home in person too, girl. But back to your book. I know what you're talking about. I know this book probably isn't like therapeutic for you, but was it like looking back of what you wrote, was it harder to know that part of it is you a little bit, if that makes sense?
A little bit, just because like there's the fear of if people read it and they're like, why is she so hung up on this guy that sucks? Like, yeah. I thought maybe there'd be that, like people getting annoyed with her. But so far, like the ARC readers, a lot of people really identify with that. Like being hung up on someone, even though you know that they did you wrong, and like trying to come to terms with that and your feelings towards them. It's very complicated, but it's something that I think everybody, if you haven't gone through it and you're an adult, like kudos, but I think most of us go through that. So, I mean, it was kind of therapeutic to a lot of the stuff that like she works through, I did on my own. But it's nice. Like, I wish this was a book I could have picked up at that age and like read and then like, oh, hey, there is like a light at the end of the tunnel where you don't just feel heartbroken forever, you know?
Yeah. So it's harder, but it becomes a blessing kind of thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So your book is not quite out yet. What days it come out?
August 18th.
18th. So you're really close.
Yeah, very close.
What are you doing? Because you got to. Some authors don't, and I'm like, I'm going to make you. What are you doing to celebrate?
I am having a launch party. So anyone that's in Minnesota or the surrounding areas, like I don't know how far people want to travel, but I'm having a launch party in St. Paul, Minnesota. All the details about it are on like all my stuff, my website, my Facebook, my Instagram. It's Leah Rochelle Author everywhere. It's 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. because it's a Tuesday, so I want to like be accommodating for people that work, and I also don't want to sacrifice my PTO. So, but I'll have like copies of the books there. I'll have some champagne, some drinks. It's just in like a public park, so like everybody's welcome, and I'll have that launch party, and then the weekend after, I have a little bit of a like mini Midwest book tour. So I'll be doing signings in Green Bay and Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, and then in Chicago as well.
Are you doing the last chapter?
Yes. Yeah, I'll be at the last chapter August 23rd. I believe it's 3 to 5 p.m., but I'm not 100% certain. So if anyone is interested in going, check out either my Instagram or website or the last chapter they've posted about it as well.
Okay, so got the signings out. You're going to have a fantastic time. What is next for you? Since I haven't read the book because it's not out yet, is it a standalone or a series? Because if it's a series, that's probably what's next.
This is a standalone. I have like a couple of my friends that read it have been like, are you going to write more? And I just feel like where it ends, like there isn't more to tell. Like it's a romance. It's a happily ever after. So like, where do you go from happily ever after? Like, you'd have to make more things suck a little bit for another story. And I feel like Oenone deserves to just vibe now. So I have two projects I'm working on right now. Neither of them are like in the querying or publication phase yet. One of them is a sapphic 80s rom-com love triangle, the mannequin-esque type thing.
Okay.
And then one of them is a mermaid pirate like love story. That one is I wrote the first draft and that's with a beta reader right now. So that one's like a little further behind in the phases. But yep, those are kind of the irons in the fire.
So you have me pumped up, and not say, like, hurry up, take your time, but I'll be here.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I want you to have, this went so fast. I want you to have a fantastic day. I want Holly Ron to have a great day, no matter if you're evil or not. I will my parents are Amy and Kevin, so Amy, Kevin? Kevin, Amy?
Yeah. Yep. There was no creativity. I didn't like come up with a unique name combination. It was literally just change the Y to an I and merge the names together.
It is the way that is the antagonist. I cannot, ways.
I cackled when I found that, and I sent it to like all my friends. I was like, "This is the funniest thing I've ever seen."
Group chat, please look at my.
Yeah.
Okay, I will talk to you later. This will be up on YouTube in a couple of days. Have a great day. You're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I'll see ya.
Bye.